I talked to the Navy guy first, and he's like, hey, we could do this, this, this. And I was like, all right, sounds good. Let me go explore options. Went to the Air Force. I was like, hey, I want to, like to know what the Air Force can do for me. And he said, no, what can you do for the Air Force? I said, see you later. Have a good day. Literally, I went right over and signed up for the Navy. What I learned is really don't try to do everything at once. Don't go out there. Don't mimic these big franchises because most of them have endless pockets. Or even anybody I meet, and I'm like, hey, how's your day? Oh, it's okay. My thing is now I've changed that to where, okay, cool. What can I do to make it better? To help them feel better. Not about making me feel better, but what can I do for somebody else?
What's up, guys? Lift and Love. Lift and Love here. Where did you pull this question from? Why is that? Lift Love. Crochet. We out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Lifting Love podcast. You are awesome, and today we have an incredible episode. He is a father, a husband, former military member, so thank you for your service, absolutely, entrepreneur, the founder of Coolgevity. It is Jarrod Conner. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing well. Nice and early. Ready to get in my tank.
Well, I appreciate you making the space. We're literally here at Coolgevity in the lobby. So thank you so much. First of all, for your service. I know I told you I'm going to tell you like a million times. And secondly, thank you for your time today. So how's everything been?
It's been good. Staying busy, trying to get folks in here. I can't complain.
That's what it's all
Other
about.
Other than hot, but that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing.
The summer is in full effect, as they say. So for people who may not know you, who are you and what do you do?
So I'm the owner of Coolgevity. Started this business almost 3 years ago. Like you said, husband, father, entrepreneur, just having fun. Just having fun, doing as much as I can.
So let's go way back. Where does this journey start? Have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? Was there something that maybe you saw yourself doing coming out of high school, going into college? Like, what did that look like early on?
Not one bit. Not one bit at all. Seriously. When I graduated high school, I was like, school is not for me, not going to do this. I was like, well, let me see, what can I do? I was trying to be forward thinking, what's going to be good for my life, at least to start something out with a career. Navy jumped into mine. I was like, let me go do it.
There was no other thought of like any of the other branches or like?
Oh, no, man. I first, I knew I wasn't going Army or Marines. Okay. I'll be on a ship shooting missiles. You're not going to shoot at me. Funny story, I walked into the Air Force recruiter. I talked to the Navy guy first, and he's like, hey, we could do this, this, this. And I was like, all right, sounds good. Let me go explore options. Went to the Air Force. I was like, hey, I want to, like to know what the Air Force can do for me. And he said, no, what can you do for the Air Force? I said, see you later. Have a good day. Literally, I went right over and signed up for the Navy.
So it was literally just the environment or like how they made you feel when you talked to the recruiter of like, hey, this is the place for me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then that was like high school or did you do college first and then what?
No, I was out of high school for about a year.
Oh, wow.
About a year.
Wow. Was there any like nervousness joining so like for me, I had some surgeries and I had some stuff going on. I was ineligible according to the recruiter to go into the Army. For you, was there like a calling? Like for me, politics aside, we live in the greatest country in the world. Absolutely. Nobody can tell me different. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, I could really care less about politics in general. Right. We live factually in the greatest country in the world. We 100%. Have freedoms that people would literally kill for in other places in the world.
100%.
Was there a thing that was my reason to even talk to the recruiter? What was your reason for going into the military?
Really, I had a kid early. And in my mind, I was like, I have to support this kid. What do I need to do? Plus, I had family in the military. My grandfather, my father was in there. Awesome. Kind of followed in their footsteps, heard stories. I mean, you get to travel.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to travel for free. Who doesn't want that?
Wait, for free, get paid, and you get to serve the country. It's like, it's a no-brainer.
Oh, without a doubt.
So you're third generation military?
Yes.
Wow. Does that like carry a bit of a not, I don't want to say a burden, but like, is there like a little extra stress on you knowing that like your lineage is third generation?
No, not really.
Wow.
I try to get my kids in. My biggest thing is when I talk to them is the benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 years minimum, but what are you going to do for the next 4 years? You get to travel, you get to learn to trade.
Yeah.
And you get paid. It's not bad pay at all.
Yeah.
You know.
So in the military, you did just 4 years, and then, or did you? How long were you in the military?
No,
for?
I did 20.
Wow.
Yeah, I retired about 7 years ago, 8 years ago. 8 years ago.
Wow. What was your biggest takeaway being a lifelong service member?
Probably discipline, punctuality, respect for others, and just, I don't know, man, that's what it was. I just had a blast. I soaked it up.
I have to ask, because I'm just genuinely curious. What was your favorite thing about serving? What was your least favorite thing during your time?
Travel 100%. But, on the flip side, it was leaving your family for an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
You had phone calls, and you had later on, because I went in 97, you had video chat, all those things later down the road.
Yeah. So it's just like that, like, sacrifice of family time, but knowing that this is going to benefit them in the long term, benefits, all the stuff that you get as a military member, taking that little bit of sacrifice as far as time, but getting it on the back end where 20 years in, how old are you when you retired?
39.
Like, come on. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't beat that.
No,
what job is going to offer you to retire at 39
exactly.
with a pension, with benefits? Like, come on now.
Oh, yeah,
exactly. Not a lot of jobs out there you could retire before 40 and still be healthy enough to live a life.
Yep.
So how did the military kind of shape you into the entrepreneurship route? What did you do after the military? Was there like, so I've spoken to a couple other former military members, and the hardest thing is to transition out of the military. So was 8 years ago when you got out, was the goal, I'm going to own my own business because I can run a tight ship and I can put all these things as discipline, punctuality, the respect for others you're talking about? Or was it kind of you were still trying to find yourself? Like, if you don't mind talking about it, what was your experience transition into civilian life?
It was tough. Yeah. I'm telling you, it was tough because you were so used to, once you got up there in the upper ranks, one, you're responsible for people, but it was kind of that respect you got, like, oh, you're a Navy chief. And then when you get out, civilians don't understand that, and they're like, okay, cool, don't care. You work so hard to get to that.
Yeah.
And if they don't understand it, they're like, okay, big deal. But when I got out, I had zero aspirations of being an entrepreneur. Didn't want to do it.
Wow.
I had been in charge of so many people and things that you're like, I'm tired of watching over people. I don't want to take care of people's problems. I want to get up, go to work, come home. That was it.
So did you got out of the military, went straight into like a regular job?
Well, yeah. Well, not really. I did college for a little bit.
Oh,
I
nice.
love coaching. And I coached wrestling for my son for a while. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this full time. So like I went into the teaching route. And then again, it reverted back to when I was 18 and realized I don't like school. I don't like school. So I stopped that and then ended up going to work in not really a trade, but mechanically, because that's what I did for 20 years.
Wow. So when or how did the conversations about entrepreneurship really come about? Like when was that like first point in it?
Oh man, I think one time my wife and I, we had a camper. We actually had two campers at one time. Mm-hmm. And there's a site, outdoorsy where you can basically rent a camper. It's like Airbnb for campers. Yeah. And we were like, man, we have two of them. We're like, we could make a little extra money on the side. So I started my LLC from that. It was actually renting campers. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I did that at the same time I was working full time. And it got to the point COVID came around and it just got a little too much. Yeah. So we went ahead and stopped that, sold one of our campers, and then I worked for a little bit. And then
did it actually generate revenue?
Oh, it did. It
really?
was actually really good. The way that we did it was a little bit, different than other places, we would actually go and set it up. So if somebody wanted it, they would rent their campsite. You know, we'd go set it up. My wife had it looking great. People had to bring their bags. That was it. We set it up. We picked it up. You know, they walked in. Air condition was running for them.
So literally, I mean, I bet the best part of that was there was no overhead. You're not paying for the campsite. You're not paying the third party to clean and do all this stuff. It is literally just they book with you. They should tell you where they're at. You set up. You get paid.
Yep. Other than gas.
Yeah,
gas was the biggest expense. But yeah, other than that, it was it.
That's incredible. So you talked about your wife. If we could talk a little bit about family and how that kind of relates, and then go into Coolgevity. So how important has your family been? I know you said you had a kid early. Mm-hmm. I just had my first.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. He's 5 months old at the time of recording this.
Nice.
Brand new.
Brand new.
No mileage on it, you know.
Don't give Dad any trouble. Trust me, he wants what's best for you.
So first off, talk about your wife, because I know she's been super supportive in all this. How has having a partner by your side really made you a better person?
Oh, huge. She's built my resiliency through the roof. Yeah. You know, when you start a small business, it's not as easy as people think.
Yeah, we were just talking about it. It's easy.
Yeah. You're going to have those bad days where you're coming home and like we said, you know, it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, and she's like, you got this. Like, it'll be fine. You know, you have the personality. You know, you have the drive. Her support has been, I mean, absolutely amazing.
And then, remind me again, how many kids do you have?
Oh, man. Now you're really going to get me. Total, we have 7.
You have 7 kids?
7 kids.
I didn't know that. To be honest with you, I didn't know that. I thought you had I know you had a couple. I didn't know you had 7.
Oh yeah.
All right, names 7. And birthdays. No, I'm just
Oh man.
I'm just kidding. What? So you talk about that sacrifice with everything in the military. 7, 1 or 2 kids is another thing, but 7 kids. Oh, yeah. How is it being a parent?
It's fun. You know, it's fun to see your kids obviously grow up and do their milestones. You know, that's really good. Of course, it can be frustrating. You know, you get into those teenage years and they know everything, absolutely everything. But it is good. It's very, I don't want to say rewarding, but it is to see them go through the things they do and accomplish the things that they do, even things I didn't accomplish. Yeah. You know, that is really good. And
real quick, not all their ages, but youngest, oldest. What's the range?
Let's see. Man, I hope they're not watching this.
I hope you are. No.
Let's see. 27.
Oh, wow.
24. 27. 25. 24, 19, no, 20, 19 or 20, can't remember, 17, 20, and 6.
That last one was it was going really smooth. Then the last one was 6. Wow, that's a big spread.
Yeah. Well,
was that when you got back?
No. That was actually, that's my niece, and we took her in.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was good. It was about 3 years ago we took her in, you know, and I'm not going to kid with you. My wife and I were making plans to move to Puerto Rico.
Whoa.
We were Costa Rica. Costa Rica.
I was going to say.
Yeah, Costa Rica. We're like, we're out of here. We're going to go live there for a year, see how it is. And then, bam, it's like, no, you're not.
Was the kid or when you brought your niece in?
Yeah, it was, well... No, all of those are our kids.
Yeah.
You know, they're all our kids. They're all special. But yeah, when we brought her in, man, it was, you know, our oldest was getting ready, or our youngest was getting ready to graduate.
Wow.
You know, she was 17 out the door, and we were like, cool, we can go away for the weekend and be good. And now we have this 3-year-old. So, was there a certain point of view, a part of you that was like, when that happened and everything got finalized, like, hey, we're gonna take care of this kid, was there kind of like you get to like relive all of it again, or was there kind of like, dang,
I gotta go all the way back. We just finished with our youngest. Like,
there was more of like, dang, what do we do? Because it was tough. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
we have a 17-year-old, and there's times where, you know, the 3-year-old was in daycare. Now she's 6, and it's like, hello, you need to pick up your child, and we're like, oh yeah, we forgot. there's just things that you know, because there's such a huge gap.
Yeah.
That it was tough. It was like, what are we doing? But the good thing to it is like, everybody makes mistakes as a parent. So nobody's perfect. So we got to go back and like do those things that we've learned. You know, okay, we're going to do this different. You know, we're going to shape this way. You know, we're going to encourage this. You know, so that was the good part of it. It does make you feel like you get a second chance.
Do you feel like that you guys have made the most of that second chance? Like you said, going back, doing things that you wish, and obviously 6 years old, still got a little bit of ways to go,
Oh, yeah.
but like getting that chance of like, hey, like we can do the things we didn't really get a chance to do. Because all your kids, well, you were in the middle, when you got out, that was 8 years ago. So you still had a couple kids who were just graduating, getting ready to graduate.
Right.
But like, so you kind of, I don't want to say missed because you served the country, you know, all that, and you came back obviously. Mm-hmm. But like, do you feel this second chance gives you an opportunity to spend more time and to really kind of give and provide to not just your niece, the 6-year-old, but to all your kids, and really get to spend time and all your love with, spend time and share the love that you have with them now? Because obviously in the military, you're traveling, you're all over the place. Your schedule, I couldn't even imagine, was probably, yeah, just the look on your face. Man. So does it give you like, and again, not just for the 6-year-old, because obviously she needs more attention than the rest of them do, but like, do you feel you get to spend more time with not just your youngest, but all your kids now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not missing birthdays. I'm not missing Christmases, you know, Thanksgivings, which were the hardest part of that. So you're there with that. You know, you're there for the first day of school. Their first tooth. You know, it's the little things like that when you're not there and you finally get to realize that, it's special. It absolutely is special. Get to coach your kids for the entire season. You know, it's absolutely.
I literally, I'm asking because I literally cannot wait to do all that stuff. Like I told my wife, I said 2, 3 and beyond, I'm gonna excel as a parent. Right now, he's just so little. I don't want to like break him. You know, it's like I'm sitting there like, okay, what do I do? There's no owner's manual on this thing. It's not like a car.
And your wife will know there's certain cries. Yeah. You know, and you're like, honey, he or she's crying. What do I do?
Can we talk real quick about women?
Oh, okay.
Motherhood.
Yes.
The minute my kid was born, it was like she just knew what to do, and I was just like, how do you know? And she's just like, I know. I'm like what?
I think when you're carrying a child for 9 months, there is that bond.
Yeah.
You know, there's absolutely a bond where they feel, you know, the baby hears your voice, and they're nurturers by nature. You know, I mean, dude, I'm telling you, when I get sick, I'm the biggest baby ever.
Oh, dude.
But
same.
My wife knows what I need. You know, I don't have to tell her.
Yeah.
You know, she just knows, and I think it's in their DNA that happens.
I think it's made me love my wife even more. It's this incredible experience, this journey that you get to like see the person you love become a mother.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's just incredible. Oh, it's so wild, but I still don't understand how she just kind of knows. And I'm just sitting here like, baby's trying. What do I do? And she's just like, oh, you got to do this, this, and that. I'm like, how do you know? How do you know? Yeah. But switching over, I appreciate you talking about your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did Coolgevity come about? And I know there is a funny story about the name that we talked about last time. So if you could talk about the name real quick,
okay,
and then how this came about.
So when we started, we were just in the kitchen when we were going to do this, and I think I came up with Cool Wellness, which now I'm like, that's a ridiculous name. You know, we wanted something that separates us from the other kind of wellness centers. When we first started out, we were only going to do cryotherapy and red light therapy. And we're sitting in there, and my son goes, Coolgevity. And it was just like a light bulb went off. My wife and I, we were like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. And I was like, you know, where'd you think of that? He goes, well, cool, because you do cryotherapy, and Gevity, because this helps your health in the long run, so longevity. So he put those two together, and I was like, man, that sounds good. And of course he's still trying to get royalties. He's like, it's my idea, so
Hey, 10%, take it or leave it.
right. He'll come back, man. He's a great businessman. He's an entrepreneur himself. He'll come back with, how about 12 and I get free cryo?
Ooh,
so he's good.
You can counter at 8 free cryo,
right? And he'll walk away, and then then I'll be getting sued.
And then how did this start? It's actually to the testament of you being a service member. That's actually how this came about, right? There was an injury you had. If you could talk, if you don't mind sharing about that, and then how this came about.
So I was really big into sports, and I know people are going to bag on me, but check it out on YouTube. I played competitive softball, and it was kind of daunting on your body when you're playing so many games per day. But anyway, it was back in 2012. I hurt my shoulder and lived with that pain. I went in the Navy. The biggest thing is Motrin. And that stuff is not the best for you in the long run. So I get out, still with this pain, still taking Motrin. My son is a wrestler, so he had an injury right before the state tournament. So I take him down to go do cryo. The head coach tells me about it. I take him down, and the guy was like, "Hey, you want to hop in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" I just want to try it. I seen the boys shaking, and of course I'm like, I'm going to get in there, no problem. Got out, man, and I felt like amazing. Like, I can't even explain the feeling. Refreshed, my pain was next to nothing. So I get in my truck, and I'm like, man, this is straight placebo effect. I was like, he got me. It lasted about 3 or 4 days. Had to take the kids back for another one. I was like, I want to get in again. Got in again, and it was the same effect. And I came home and told my wife, I was like, we got to get this out there. Like, for real. I was like, I don't want to drive an hour for 3 minutes. I said, let's try this here. We could bring this to the community.
And you were already living in Hickory.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. It is just cryo is just such an interesting feeling. And until you go through it, you don't really know that feeling. But especially, I went through it and felt amazing, and I didn't have any injuries. Yeah. I can only imagine, like, getting that range of motion back and being able to move normally, how incredible that must feel. So when you first started, what was that conversation like? And how did you end up here? What's the origin story of getting here?
Oh, goodness. My wife was like, do you really think it could work? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm a believer. Yeah. And my wife is like, well, you know what? Go ahead if you really want to do it. And she's supported me on all my ventures. And I don't know whether she wanted to or not, but that's just how she is. So we did that. We started it. We kept looking for places and things like that. And this place came about because in the Mountain View community, it's really good. It was a great space for us to start out. It wasn't too far from like Viewmont. It wasn't far from a lot of places. But we were just like walked in here and we're like, this is a great place. Like, this could actually work for us. Plus the rent was good.
Yeah. Always good when there's lower overhead.
Yes, absolutely.
How scary was it to make the jump into this? Obviously you had the experience of feeling it and this is going to work, right? As far as like people feeling good and like you believed in the therapy itself, but going into transitioning into an entrepreneur, how were you feeling? And was it everything that you thought it was going to be?
Man, it was scary. Yeah. It was absolutely scary because starting out as a business, you don't get loans. Nobody's going to give you money, so you're like, oh, man, I got to do all this. You don't realize how expensive things can be. And we're not just talking the equipment. You're talking things like, small things, the administrative stuff, the TVs, the promotional stuff. So it was super scary, and what I learned is really don't try to do everything at once. Don't go out there, don't mimic these big franchises because most of them have endless pockets. If you do that, you have a very high success of failing. I think it's after the first year, there's an X percentage of entrepreneurs that close their doors. 3 years, you're getting better. 5 years is that mark. Yeah. So if you can make that, and man, I'll tell you, the first month was horrible. I'm not gonna lie. I sat right there in that chair that you're sitting, for 8 hours. nobody walked through the doors. You know, and that was like 3 consecutive weeks, and you're just like, man, what did I do? You know, because I love cryotherapy. So in my mind, I'm like, everybody's going to like it. You know, how could you not? And that wasn't the case at first.
Yeah. What were those like early day struggles like? Was it just people didn't know who you guys were, or like speak on those early day struggles?
Yeah, that was really it. You know, and then social media marketing. I geared toward the wrong people, believe it or not. Like when I first started this out, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to have the CrossFit places. I'm going to have the gyms. I'm going to have, you know, the high schools, the college sports people. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't at all. And it was just that and getting people through the doors. When you tell somebody you're going to get in a tank that's negative 180 degrees, they're like, nah, I'm good.
Actually, I have something else to do, somewhere else to be. I got to go.
Yeah, they're like, man, I don't even like wintertime. You know, and it's what, maybe in the mid 40s, you know, but yeah, that's a struggle trying to get people convinced to get in there.
So when did the tide change? When was that moment of, okay, we're getting some traction, people starting to know who we are, and that must have felt amazing. How did that feel, going from you're sitting here 8 hours a day and nobody's coming through the door to people starting to realize who you are? Because now you guys are like in the community. Like I see your guys' stuff all over the place. People are talking about you. People come here and make content with you guys. Like, how does it feel, or when did it start, and how did that feel?
I would honestly say probably about the January or February after we opened. So we opened up in September, March, April, May, June, or September. I don't even know my days of the month. That was bad.
he said September, March, April, May,
Right?
June.
Oh, goodness.
Listen, guys, the life of an entrepreneur is hard, okay?
Oh, yeah. So we'll say 4 months.
Okay.
It was social media marketing.
Yeah.
You know, that's where it was. So, you know, as an entrepreneur, that's where your budget needs to go, you know, is that social media marketing. So we get out there, you know, a couple people see us, and then they come in, and then after that, it snowballs into, you know, to word of mouth. You know, it's just everybody is saying, hey, look, you got to go try this out. This is good. You know, they come, you post a couple videos, a couple pictures. You know, they're saying, oh, it's not that bad. And they're seeing that people are actually having fun doing it. They see that they're getting results, and then they're like, man, I want to try that. So it came in, and it was amazing. I would go home and be like, honey, we had 4 appointments today. And then it's like, honey, we had 9 appointments, you know, and then it goes into like 18, 19 appointments where we're booked, and we're just like, yeah, this is going great. And then, you know, the next month business, you're like, man, we have 4 appointments.
I think for this podcast's sake, I really want to talk also about the effects and like the benefits of Coolgevity and all you guys do here in cryotherapy, because you guys don't just do cryotherapy.
No.
Coolgevity, you guys, I mean, I'm literally looking up, but you have so much that you offer. So real quick, if you could explain what you guys offer, and then we can break down each and kind of talk a little bit about each.
So the first and foremost is cryotherapy that we offer, obviously. Red light therapy, we offer localized cryotherapy, we offer compression therapy, cryosculpting, which is our new one. We really like that one. That seems to be very popular. And then localized cryotherapy. And then we just started a couple months ago going mobile with our localized cryotherapy. So we get to go to tournaments, places like that we can bring that out of Coolgevity into the community.
Hickory FC.
Right. They actually come here. They're loving it.
That's awesome.
They're loving it.
So I feel like the 2 biggest ones that people know the most are red light therapy and cryotherapy. So we'll talk about those after. The compression therapy. When I came, first off, I also want to say, I went back. You guys here are one of the first like IRL. It's called IRL. It's in real life videos we did. First IRL videos that we did. Like ever. Like you guys are one of the first 5 videos that I've ever made.
Honored.
We were
Thank
here
you.
when we came. It was like 2.5-ish years ago. So just want to say shout out to you for always being awesome.
Oh, thank
but
you.
when I came here, I didn't know what compression therapy was. And we did the whole video, and I sat down and you put the things on my legs. Talk a little bit about compression therapy, because I think, especially for athletes, that is a huge like benefit for people.
So our body has a lymph system. Basically, it's like a drainage system. Okay, our body sends blood and fluid throughout our body, to help feed your muscles, to help repair them. Sometimes that lymph system will get clogged up. What compression therapy does is it helps clean that system out so that fluid can be moved back to your heart to be recycled. So it reduces, pain, swelling, gets the lactic acid. Leg day, man, for your leg day, it's you don't walk funny. We'll put it that way after you do it. Runners, great for runners, soccer folks, Hickory FC's in here. Leg day people, the gym, it really is good. Even older folks who, compression socks are getting so big now where, older folks are wearing them because they're getting that relief. They can come in here now and do this and they're good. It's not an everyday thing where they have to do it. It's relaxing in the room too.
Yeah, it is. Like when I was doing it, I was like, man, it's like, it feels weird at first, but then when you get out, it's like, man, I got a whole new leg.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly.
And then the one you were talking about that I found really interesting before we jumped on the podcast was the sculpting, the sculpting. You said that's the one where you have to be like licensed and registered to do that?
Yeah, you have to be registered to do it and certified. That one is a really good one for it's really good for health and also, personal appearance. So it helps get rid of small pockets of fat. Like us older guys, we're in good shape, but we have that little tummy, right? That we want to get rid of. And it really helps with that. It helps firm the skin, tighten and tone. If folks come in and they have, stretch marks or anything like that, it helps, get rid of that. Great for when you're ready for the summer, or even in the winter when you have family members coming over or, class reunions. But it helps, get those pockets of fat. It basically kills the fat cells. And then your body gets rid of them naturally. So it's non-invasive, great, alternative like liposuction.
That's awesome. And then the localized one, which was super cool. You have the machine where you can kind of that's more so for like injuries and stuff, people rehabbing. If you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that allows us to localize a certain area. If folks don't want to get in the cryo chamber, or there's some aspects where, the cryo chamber doesn't really get your neck because your head is exposed. Yeah. So here we can get those areas that have pain and inflammation. Soccer, you have a hurt back, we can get that. I'm not going to lie, man, I have done a toe. So we can even get a toe done.
Like a singular toe.
Yes, a big toe.
It's never the pinky. It's always the big toe.
Right, yeah. So, and we can get any area of the body for that. It's a really good therapy, especially when you go mobile. Yeah. We went to a wrestling tournament, and if you know anything about wrestling, you get beat up. Oh. You get beat up for so long. They're able to come and get that localized cryotherapy. It's very much like an ice pack on steroids. Helps with that pain and inflammation, draws the blood away from the skin, and then they can go right back on the mat. They're ready to go for their next match.
And then the two big ones that I really want to talk about, red light therapy and cryo. We'll end with cryo because I feel like that's the biggest one. Yes. Red light therapy, you were telling me before that you have what most people don't have in this area, or you have to travel pretty far to get it, and that's full body.
Yes. So we have it's not a tanning bed, but it's a table that you lay on that it gets your backside and your front side. It's 72 inches long, so you can get your entire body. With red light, the whole goal of that is to harness the energy from the near infrared and the red light for pain and inflammation. By doing that, we stimulate your mitochondria and supercharge your cell. And those cells travel throughout your body, so now you're going to get a healthier body. You're like Superman.
The way you're talking sounds like you're an evil scientist. Has anyone ever told you that?
No, actually they haven't. Not yet.
When you talk about mitochondria, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Oh, yeah. And I say those things just to sound really smart. When they come in, they're like, man, you really know what you're talking about. Really, I do. It's a lot of research.
But if anyone's out there and you just want to sound really, really confident in what you're doing, just throw a couple big words in there, especially mitochondria. Yeah. Figure out a way to put mitochondria in whatever. Imagine someone's in finance. It's like, so these accounts, they're like the mitochondria.
That's great. I like that one. That is really good.
That's the challenge. If you're still watching this podcast, I need you to use mitochondria in something you're doing. When you said that, I was like, he's an evil scientist, isn't he? He's out here putting experiments on people to become superhuman. I mean, it's really kind of, at the end of the day, what you're doing. You're here. These are amenities for people to actually like supercharge their body.
Oh yeah.
Right. You're moving lactic acid. You're like, these are things that like hinder performance, hinder your mobility. I mean, whether you're an athlete or you're 80 years old, or maybe you're a 30-year-old person who's normally just regularly healthy. Yep. You don't have and we talked about this before we got on. You don't have to be hurt. No. You don't have to be unhealthy to come through anything that you have here, especially the next one we're going to talk about, cryotherapy. If you could talk a little bit about that.
Cryotherapy it's the best thing on the world. I'm telling you, it truly, it's a life changer. Yeah. You know, you do a session in there, you're only in there 3 minutes. When you come out, it's hard to explain the feeling. I know you know because you've done it.
It is incredible.
The refreshness that you come out with it, the reduced pain that you come out with, the dopamine that it releases. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm telling you, again, it's like another Superman therapy that we have when you're ready to run out the door and, you know, go do what you need to do for the rest of the day. Yeah. Improves your sleep, your blood circulation. That's why it's really good, not just if you're injured, but for everyday wellness. Yeah. You know, who doesn't want that better sleep? You know, especially now.
I think for me, and this is the biggest offset of cold plunging for me, it's like you have to build up like a minute or two before you really get in there. But once you're in there, you feel amazing. And then you get out, you feel even more amazing. With this, you just jump in. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's like my body's reacting to this thing. But it's not like reacting in a bad way. It's reacting in like, it's the fight or flight response that our body normally has in a fight or fight situation. But here, it's in a controlled environment. Mm-hmm. And that all the chemicals and hormones it releases in our body actually benefit us. Oh, yeah. And I think, and again, going back to what we talked about, like people understanding that you can be a very healthy person and do this. Mm-hmm. You could have things that limit you and do this. You could be 80 years old. You could be 18 years old. Mm-hmm. You know, like this is more preventative than it is reactive to. And obviously, it's going to benefit, you know, like you said, you were injured when you did it and it made you feel better. Mm-hmm. But the average normal person, if they just want to feel better, if they want to take advantage of the things that our body already produces, but in a controlled, safe environment, like I think that is, for people watching, that's the great thing about it, is your demographic is 18 to 100. If you are mobile and moving, even if you're not, and you have limitations, this could actually benefit you and actually give you a better way of living.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and when you don't do it, you feel it. That's a thing. And, you know, the way I'm thinking about it now that you just said that, is people take vitamins every day.
Every day.
You know, you're not hurting, but you're taking this vitamin because it helps you. Yep. You know, you're. I don't want to say you're going to live longer, but you have a better chance. You know, you can do things. And cryotherapy is no different.
100%.
You know, it is no different.
I think my favorite thing about it, and you know, when we talked a little bit, but when I came and did the video, you were talking about all these things that your body already does naturally, but we don't. Again, we live in the greatest country in the world. I said that beginning, I'll say it till the day I die. But we don't have. I mean, obviously, this is not for everybody. For the average person, your fight or flight response, a couple times in your life, maybe. Yeah. But to be able to do it in a controlled environment where you get the benefits and you're not in that fear setting or something bad's not happening to you for that reaction to happen, there's so many benefits in that. You get the release of hormone and chemicals in your body that naturally happen, all for your benefit. I think cryotherapy, and I'm not saying this because he paid me. It's not paid me. And I am not as paid. What's the saying? I'm not a paid spokesman. There you go. Like, having come here and done it, it is, you just feel incredible. I think that's the message to get out, where it's just like, you don't have to be hurting. You don't have to be anything. Do you want to feel better? Right. Do you want to feel better? Yep. Come to Coolgevity. Yep.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
What has been, you think, the biggest thing you see from customers who come in, where it's like, I know one of the things you were like, oh, it's not as cold, but like, what are some of the things you see from the customer's point of view to where they're coming back on a regular basis? Like, what is some of the stuff that they go through and they tell you?
Sleep. is one of the big ones. You know, I have clients that come in here that haven't slept good for years. You know, I have clients that come in here that have had acute injury, or not acute injuries, but chronic injuries for 15 years. You know, so they come back from that, but even the wellness, like they just feel good. Yeah. You know, they're like, hey, look, you know, I got this big thing I want to go today. I want to go do sports people, athletes. They're like, hey, look, I got a big game. I need that boost. You know, and they're not injured. They just want that boost. They want that competitive edge. You know, so, I mean, they love it, everything. They love the dopamine release. You know, just that energy, that euphoric state of feeling. You know, if you're in a bad mood, the dopamine puts you in a good mood. You know, you're having a bad day, just come on in. Yeah. You know?
And it's much better than the dopamine you get off your phone.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know what I mean? Like that natural rush of just happiness and feeling good. I think for me, like outside looking in, like I don't think you realize how much you guys offer here. Yeah. And that was one of the things when we set this podcast up is one of the things I really wanted to convey to people. Mm-hmm. You're not just cryotherapy. Correct. Like there is so many more layers, which is crazy because if you think of the human body, you don't think that we have the ability to do all this stuff. The human body is incredible.
Oh yeah. We tap into 40% of what we can do, really. 40%, that's it. You have 60 more percent of, you know, potential that you could use.
So real quick, break that down. Why is that?
Well, just because mentally, you know, mentally we get to a point to where our body says, I can't go any longer. You know, it's, I don't know. It's weird for like me to explain. I used to run, you know, and I'd get to 3 miles and my goal was 5. And I'm like, I just can't do it. You know, it's Jarrod, just keep on running. Before you know it, I'm at 5 miles. And it's like, man, I thought I was going to quit, you know, and you don't. Yeah. You know, it's just like in the chamber, it's all mental. When I tell you, hey, your temperature's negative 205 and you still have a minute and a half left and you're shivering, they're like, I can't do it. I can't do it. You know, we talk them through that. Absolutely. Be mentally strong. You jump a hurdle every time you do that, and you're just building your mental strength. Yeah. You know, so, I mean, now that 40%, you're tapping into 50%, and then you're tapping into 60%. And you're not only doing it here, but you're doing it in life, you know, and things that you never thought you could do.
So last couple of questions for you. Again, appreciate your time. How much of doing what you do now is because of your military background? Like how the discipline, right? It's funny. You talked about it earlier, right? The discipline, the respect for others. Like it's like you're doing all these things in your business now. So looking back, reflecting, how important was being in the military to who you are as a person now and to what you're doing in business?
It's huge, the discipline to coming in here every day, even the bad days. Yeah. You know, when you just don't want to be here because it just seems like business is going down the drain. That's one aspect. And then the respect. I mean, when every client walks through our door, you know, we respect you because you are a person. You know, we're here to help you. Yeah. You know, we're not getting you in and getting you through the door. You know, our clients, we build relationships with you. You know, so that respect is really good when you extend it toward people. Nobody wants to be disrespected. I've been to some of the places around here that, you know, you go, we'll say order food, and they walk, what do you want? You know, and I'm like, yeah, like, dude, I'm here to eat. You know, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? You know, that really helps us, you know, do that here.
It's like the standard is that much higher because of everything that you've gone through personally. But like in life, there's a couple different ways you can look at things. You can look at it from a glass half full or a glass half empty. I feel like a lot of the average person looks at the glass half empty. Right. If we're just being honest. Right. I've always been glass half full because I feel like there is so much more positive in this world than there is negative, but people choose to focus on the negative. Yeah. And just how you're talking about, as simple as coming in and saying, hey, how are you? And actually just meaning it. Yeah. How are you doing? Yeah. Tell me what's going on. How, especially you're in a service-based industry where especially like, so service-based, but you're helping people. Yes. So how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? Like that one sentence can change someone's perspective and make them a repeat customer. And that's what's important.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. You know, when you come in and you're even saying, you make it personal with them. You know, you want to come back. We've had a client tell us, man, you're my therapy. You know, you're my therapy session. You know, you are my therapist now, and I'm not talking about the, you know, the whole body cryo stuff, but they come in, we talk. You know, hey, how's your kids doing? How was your trip doing? You know, it's just it's a personal thing. People want to be nice to you, you know, and we want to be nice to people because it's in our nature here. Yeah. You know, when we have people come in or work for us, it's like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. You know, this is how we're gonna treat people.
How does that feel? Like actually having an impact. I think that is also probably the biggest thing transitioning into civilian life, right? When you're in military, you have a purpose. You're serving the country. You have a job to do. Every day it's going to get done. You have like a checklist, like this. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do this. By the time your day's done, I'm going to bed. We're starting the day over again. Transitioning into civilian life and now as an entrepreneur, does that give you kind of like the same purpose that you had in the military of like, we're helping people here. We're able to make people feel better. And if not, like I said, like getting those people who say, this is like therapy. Yeah. And like you're making them not only feel better, but actually like heal in a sense. How does that make you feel?
Oh man, it feels amazing, and not from like a selfish point of view. Yeah. You know, but when I have a client comes in and says, I slept so good, I feel so good, you know, this is amazing. Thank you. You know, and I'm just like, thank you for coming in. You know, I just needed you here, and I could make it happen. You know, but it does feel good. You know, it feels really good when they come in and they want to talk to you. They want to engage with you. They're not dreading something. They're actually happy when they walk through our doors. You know, the smiling. I tell you, it's good when you tell people, you know, oh, they come in and say, I've had this bad ankle for 10 years. And you've helped me. I can go out now and I can start walking, start getting healthier. You know, that's really big. We make changes in people's lives, and that's great to see.
I just think it's awesome. I like being in a place where you can help other people, and it reminds me of just what you said. Like you were hooked the minute you got into cryotherapy. Like, and I bet what a good feeling it must be to see other people get hooked. Does it just like automatically bring you back every time like someone comes out and they're like, oh my God, this was the greatest thing ever. Like, does it just remind you of how you were when you did your first session?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, dude, I couldn't stop grinning on the way home. Yeah. You know, and I'm sitting there the whole way home. I'm like, I'm waiting for the pain to kick back in. I'm like, man, this feels good.
Yeah. Like a used car salesman, you're driving it home and you're just like, okay, it's going to break down now. Okay. Like you got a deal. Like it was too good to be true. Yeah. And you're just like, actually.
Yeah, it does, man. I mean, and there's two things I think I told you earlier when people come in. I could have gone colder and it wasn't that bad. And when they come out, you know, smiling and like, man, I feel good. It does. It reminds you big time of it. You know, there's certain things in life that'll take you back. Like maybe it's a Christmas, you know, memory or something. Yeah. And it is every time somebody steps out and they're like, whoo, I feel good, man. It's huge.
And then the last two questions I got for you, and then I want you to shout out your social media. Again, appreciate your time. Looking back on life now where you're at, do you have any regret whatsoever?
I think everybody has regrets, honestly, whether they want to admit it or not or put it out there. But yeah, absolutely. Just before, not really helping people when I was younger. And I don't know if younger people, there's not everybody who has an issue with that. Yeah. But, you know, in the military, I was very self-serving. You know, I wasn't helping the people I may have been leading. It was like, okay, how can I get to the next step, you know, or the next rank? And I learned that in the military not to be like that. And that is one thing that I didn't start that out when I first went into the military. You know, and I wish that I would have gone back and done that without a doubt.
Do you how would you have done that? Like looking back now and reflecting?
Oh man, I would have just, like I said, put people first. I would have been like, how can I help you? What can I do to help you succeed? What can I do to make your day better? You know?
And you think it just took a little longer, like life experience, to kind of get to that place?
I think so. I think you grow up. You know, guys, it takes us a while to grow up. I'm not going to lie. That's the truth.
I'm 27. I still haven't fully grown up yet.
It's the truth, man. I'm 47, and I love scaring my kids to death. You know, but that's how I would go back and do that. You know, people, when they come in, even here, or even anybody I meet, and they're like, I'm like, hey, how's your day? Oh, it's okay. You know, my thing is now I've changed that to where, okay, cool. What can I do to make it better? to help them feel better. Not about making me feel better, but what can I do for somebody else?
I think there's a massive thing, and I do social media marketing outside of the podcast, and like going to my clients, and it's like, what's working, what's not working, and always adding value instead of being like, oh, maybe, okay, oh yeah, how do we do that? Hey, this is a problem I have. How do we make this happen? How do we fix it? Right? Instead of being like, oh, no, like, okay, you have a problem. I have a solution. Let's fix it.
Exactly.
Or let's work together, put our heads together.
Exactly.
And be able
Work
to figure
together.
it out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, I just think it's awesome what you guys are doing.
Well,
you guys are killing it. I'm super excited for you. Last question. We ask every single guest who's been on our show. For someone watching this right now, what is the best piece of advice that you have for them?
Oh man, humble. Be humble. That's one thing. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on a lot of things. You're going to miss out playing with your grandkids. You're going to miss out waking up feeling good. You don't want to be that person that when you get older, you're sitting on a couch. Take care of yourself. You only have one body.
That's true. That is true. I love the first part though. Be humble. Yeah. Because I feel like you are like the definition of being humble. You're like, you have this awesome brand. You're doing all these cool things, and you're just like, yeah, man, this is awesome. Like you're so like pushing it forward, and you always talk about how you can give to people instead of like talking about how much you like how much business you get, or how much you guys are building, and what you guys are, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so cool to like meet a business owner who is very humble and selfless, and you're literally just here to help people, which is incredible. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. We got lucky. We got blessed. We didn't do this on our own. We didn't.
Can I ask you real quick? And this is not part of it. I just kind of came up with it. If you didn't go to that cryotherapy session with your son, what does life look like right now?
Oh man, working 12 hours a day. Damn. Really, that's it. And probably still taking Motrin, not being able to sleep because my pain in my shoulder, it would, wake me up at night. And that's not being able to help somebody, just doing what I need to do, and that's it.
Wait, so you never, shoulder real quick, you never ended up getting surgery? You just have been cryotherapying for this whole time, and you've never had like, hold on, you've never had like, you have full mobility and everything, and you've only cryo?
Only cryo and red light. That's it.
Wow.
That is it.
What exactly happened with your injury? Was it like a labrum, or was it just...
They said it was impingement. I think it was a little bit more the way it hurt. But, I'm not a doctor, but something to be chronic from 2012, to 2022, you're talking 10 years. And then just by doing a therapy, I have range of motion. I can do the things I want to, get back to lifting weights, picking up my granddaughter, horse playing, things like that. And that's all I've done.
You weren't able to do any of that when that injury first happened?
No, it was tough. I couldn't do military presses. If you did, you were going through the pain. And if you know anything about working, pain doesn't mean gain. Pain means, man, you need to stop. Something's wrong. At a certain point, because you are going to get injured.
100%. I seriously can't thank you enough, one, for your service to the country, this amazing country we live in, and also thank you for your time today. I know it's super valuable. And again, if you haven't, come to Coolgevity. All their links are going to be in the description below, but real quick, if you could shout out your social media, your website, how people can find you, how can people book with you guys, kind of just go through the gamut.
You can book either way. Give us a call. You can find us on Instagram at Coolgevity. We're on Facebook, TikTok. We just started now. Go on our website, www.coolgevity.com. Google us, cryo near me. We're there.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for allowing us to come film here again.
Absolutely.
We're literally in the lobby of Coolgevity. This is awesome. Who knew you had a podcast studio as well? So podcast studio coming to Coolgevity. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All their links are going to be in the description below. Check them out. Website, social media. Go follow them. Again, thank you for your time. And until next time, this was another Lifting Love podcast. Hit that subscribe button. But most importantly, lift love, crush hate. We out.